Hi guys, it's Mama Dawn. I am a single mom to a 2-year-old little girl, and a lot of the things that I talk about on this channel are financial related. I'll give you guys a quick overview of everything that kind of financially is going on in my life right now. I am a self-employed small business owner. I run my own e-commerce business on Amazon. I make between $2,000 and $3,000 a month, and I am paying off $55,600 of debt on a one-income household with my little 2-year-old daughter. Today, I am doing a collab that I am super excited about because I rarely do sit down and talk with me videos where I'm answering questions about myself, but doesn't like everyone love talking about themselves? I'm super excited to talk about myself today. Collab is so interesting because I am answering a bunch of questions about my financial habits and financial lifestyle in general, but I have my friend Josh also answering the same questions. The difference between Josh and I is that I'm a woman and he's a man. Men and women tend to have a lot of different experiences when it comes to money and a lot of different thought processes when it comes to money. So really what this video is about and what the collab is about me as a woman answering questions about my experience with money and him as a man answering the same exact question. So this is my financial Q&A. So I totally just mentioned Josh but said nothing about his channel. So I'm collabing with Josh from Josh is on a Mission. Josh is a super cool guy. I've been following him a little while. I think I was one of his first subscribers. Was I your first subscriber, Josh? Either way, he's super awesome. He's a real estate agent. He lives in Puerto Rico. He talks about finances, Puerto Rican life, and just being a real estate agent in general. So if any of those things interest you, feel free to go check out his channel. But if you're also interested in seeing the differences between a woman answering these questions and a man, Josh, answering these questions, go check out his channel at the end of this video to hear these same exact questions answered from a male perspective. Okay, so let's get started on my answer. Question number 1, do you consider yourself more of a spender or a saver? So I'm definitely a spender, but not probably in the traditional sense of being a spender. I am an investor. I go out and impulsively buy things for myself, but I'm constantly spending money on things that either I think I can flip and make more money on, I think I can make something to make money on, or I can immediately put into my business and resell. It's not even like just buying physical items. It's buying services that I think I can turn into more money. It's buying stocks that I think will make me more money. I love shopping for things and spending money on something that could potentially make me more money in the future. Is that kind of like a saver's mentality to spending money? Maybe, but I would say I'm definitely more of a spender. With that being said, I do like to have a little nest egg for myself. I do like to have a pretty comfortable emergency fund, so I will save if I'm in a position where I have no money. Like, I don't ever want to have no money. I definitely enjoy spending more than saving. What motivates you to save your money? So I'm a single mom, so I think the biggest thing that motivates me to save money is my child, but not just that. If I were to get married in the future, if I were to have more children in the future, just family in general is really what drives me to save money. I want to be able to provide a good life for my kiddos. I want to be able to give them extracurricular activities and educational opportunities and travel and just a lifestyle that I feel like children deserve. I want my kiddos to have to worry about money, especially while they're living with me. I think when you get out into the young adult world, it's okay to worry about money a little bit. It teaches you some lessons. But as a young child, up until 18, I never want money to be something that's in the back of their head. Do we have enough? You know, do they need to help with that? No, I never want that. I always want them to feel like they're living a very comfortable, financially secure lifestyle while they're with me. What are the top 3 items you're most likely to impulse buy? Been around on my channel for a hot minute. You know, definitely my biggest problem with impulse spending is food. I stress eat to the T. I stress buy food. I love food. Food makes me feel good, and I spend way too much money on food. Second thing is toys. I love toys. As an adult, I love toys. I love creating little setups with toys. I love doing invitations to play where you create a place for your child to play and then you just like watch them play. It's so exciting for me. And thrift shopping toys is, I can't even go to the toy aisle in thrift shops because I will go nuts. I love toys. Last thing is definitely experiences for my daughter. So things like swim lessons or ballet lessons or taking her to the movies or taking her to the zoo or traveling with her, like just letting my daughter experience life and have fun little events with her. That's something that I'm definitely most likely to impulse buy on. Things do you like to splurge on? Things that I enjoy spending more than typical money on is definitely travel. When I'm traveling, I do kind of spend more money than I should typically. I haven't traveled in a while because I've been on this debt-free journey, but when I was traveling prior to being on the debt-free journey, I definitely splurged. I went to the nicer restaurants, you know, I would do the local events. Museums are like my weakness. I love museums, so that's definitely a place where I am likely to splurge and feel comfortable doing so. And to coincide with travel experiences for my kiddo, taking her to places that maybe aren't necessary. You know, is it necessary to go to a museum? Is it necessary to go to a pumpkin patch? No, but doing those type of things and creating those memories with her is really important to me. So I feel very comfortable spending that extra money on those things. Where do you go for personal finance advice? So, this is a weird one because I don't really have anyone in my personal life that I go to for financial advice. If I do have like a financial question, usually Google, I will go to like just the online world, but a place where if I'm asking something really personal, I'll go to Reddit. There's a lot of really great subreddits. Reddit is a website, a forum, if you're not familiar, where you can just get on and talk to strangers. It's pretty much completely anonymous. And going there for financial advice is something that I've done a few times in the past just to get, you know, someone's outside perspective on it. Because I feel like when you're getting someone who knows you perspective on it, they may be able to bring some things to the table, but they also come with like a biased perspective of what they think is best for you on a personal level, whereas people online probably truly look at it in a logical way that would make the most financial sense. And then the other place that I go to is like myself. If I am, you know, struggling with something like being in debt, I go to myself. I start writing it down. I start making lists. I start making goals and plans and figuring it out. And I think just taking that time to give myself some me time and me in a notebook, we can figure out a lot of problems. An item in your home that was definitely worth the money. Everyone is gonna hate me for this because I get so many comments about this, but I love my car. You guys, I love my car. I have a Honda Pilot. It is $30,000. It is leased currently. I don't even own it. But every time I pay that lease, I'm like, worth the money. I have had used cars in the past that have screwed me. They've screwed me out of money. They've screwed me out of time. They've screwed me out of feeling secure. And having a nice new car, it's not super nice. It's not like a crazy nice car, but it's roomy. It has lots of seats. I can fit lots of kiddos in it. Top safety rated. It fits the car seat very comfortably. It's just, I feel so good driving that car. It's not a tiny car, so like, I'm gonna go on a rant about this car, but having a nice new car to drive around as a single mom brings me such a sense of security. I'm like, this is gonna get me from point A to point B without any problems, and that is unbelievably important to me. I never wanna be stranded on the side of the road with my kiddo. Ever. What is your biggest spending regret? So funny story because this totally coincides with what I was just talking about, but my biggest spending regret is a Chevy Trailblazer that I bought up in Alaska from a used dealership. It's a 2008 Chevy Trailblazer, and I'm so stupid when it comes to cars. This thing had a refurbished title, which means something happened to it, and it had been redone, like poor little engine thrown into it. I took it to a mechanic beforehand and they were like, well, it's gonna be like $2,000 to bring this up to what you need to get it driving really well. So I went back to the people and I was like, can we take $2,000 off the price, or can you just fix these $2,000 worth of issues and I'll pay the full price? They're like, sure, we'll fix the $2,000 worth of issues and you pay the full price. So I paid $8,000 for this Trailblazer, and this was in Alaska, so the Kelley Blue Book price very increased in Alaska because Alaska is a very expensive place to live. Like 4 weeks after buying it, drove it down to the lower 48 because I decided to chase my ex-husband down here and he was getting deployed in the lower 48. Stupid. Everything about this is so stupid. But on the way through Canada, no cell service, have my 2 cats with me, alone, driving through the wilderness, this car breaks down. Full-blown axle snaps. I don't know. Craziness. Had to get it in Canada, like, no offense, Canadians, but y'all are expensive. It is expensive in Canada to do anything. Thank goodness, like, the tow guy was so sweet to me, and Progressive did cover a part of the tow. where am I at? Okay, so car breaks down. I spent like $1,000 in Canada to get it up and running, just to get to the lower 48, to Illinois is where I was going at that point in time. And then eventually Oklahoma. It's late at night. My kiddo just started crying, so I'm not really sure where I was at in this story. Either way, this car kept breaking down, and Kelly Blue Book in the lower 48, it was worth $2,000. In Alaska, $8,000, lower 48, $2,000. So the second that I drove it down to Alaska, I lost $6,000 of worth in that car. So I couldn't just sell it and be done with it. I had to keep fixing it. And by the time that I had that car paid off, I had put an additional $5,000 into that car. I had turned this $2,000 Trailblazer into a $13,000 investment. And it kept breaking down. I kept getting stranded on the side of the road. I got stranded on the side of the road in Missouri and Nebraska and Texas and Oklahoma and Louisiana and Illinois and Kentucky. Wonder why I hate used cars? It's because I had to tow that car so many times. I had to sit in the side of a tow truck bouncing around like crazy so many times that I never want to go through that again in my entire life. What age would you like to retire? So I actually love working. Like, I really can't imagine a point in my life when I wouldn't want to work. I think I'll always want to do my little business ventures and do my little investments and things like that. But I would like to be in a place where I don't have to work by the age of 60. I would like to have enough money where I don't have to be continuing to work. But I really can't ever picture myself not working. Like, I love being busy. I love earning money. I love setting out on different little business investments. So I can't ever see myself stopping that, but I can definitely see myself trying really, really hard to set myself up to be in a really good financial position to where if something happened and I couldn't work, I wouldn't have to, and I could live comfortably after the age of 60. This is the best piece of financial advice you have ever received. It's really simple. Everyone's heard this one, but just the quote, time is money. Guys, time truly is money. You're either earning money, you're losing money, you're spending money when it comes to your time. I feel like when I am running my business, when I'm doing pretty much anything that involves money, I'm thinking, how much am I making an hour or how much am I losing an hour? Is it worth it to lose this much an hour to do whatever thing I'm doing? Or is it worth it to be working as hard as I'm working for what I'm making in that hour? Me, time is of the essence. Time is the most important thing that I can have. Time is the most important thing that I can spend. And equating that time to money helps me determine whether or not I'm using my time wisely. It really helps me evaluate when I'm spending something, how much time I am putting into the thing that I'm spending. If I'm buying a really expensive thing, is the time that I'm putting into earning that money worth it? How was money talked about while you were growing up? So this is a really interesting question for me because as I become an adult, I'm really probably the first person in my family to openly talk about money, to openly talk about debt and spending habits and all of that. My parents did not talk about money to my brother and I as children. One thing they really stressed was savings. They had savings accounts set up for us every year. On our birthday, when we got money, we would go with them to the bank to deposit our savings. They really stressed saving for things that you really wanted. We didn't just get items, like we had to wait for Christmas or our birthday, or we had to save up and buy that item ourselves. In terms of financial awareness, they really instilled in us that saving is the best possible thing you can do. They created the habit of saving in my brother and I very early. Definitely stressed financial responsibility. But in terms of talking about credit cards and talking about loans and talking about just stocks and financial growth and how to set yourself up for the future, they never talked about it. And I think a part of that was they never wanted my brother and I to feel stressed out about money. They never wanted us to be thinking like, well, do our parents have enough, or are we in a good spot financially? Like, I think they just avoided that conversation because they didn't want my brother and I worrying about money as children. Now that I'm an adult, the discussion has kind of changed because I'm open with everyone. Everyone I meet and talk to, I'm like, oh, I have this much debt. This is how much I earn. Like, I'm very open about my financial situation. It's not an awkward topic for me. And because I've been like that, my parents have really started to open up, and my brother has as well. And it's become a family discussion now. It's become something we're all really open about and excited to talk about. My parents have set themselves up really well. They've done really well for themselves in turning, their working class jobs into something long-term and stable by investing and being really careful with their money. They're great examples, but as a child, they did not talk to me about money. A lot of the things I learned financially were from ex-boyfriends and YouTube and books and the internet. Your main financial goal for 2021. I'm actually going to make an entire video about this in the future, probably near the end of December, to really break down my financial goals for you guys. But my main goal that you guys could probably already assume is that I want to pay off as much of my consumer debt as possible in 2021. I would like to eliminate all of my consumer debts outside of my car by the end of 2021. For me right now, that is about it's about $17,000 of debt that I would like completely cleared by the end of 2021. What do you like the most and what do you dislike about personal finance? In terms of what I like the most, I love the feeling of being in control of my finances, of my life, of my future. Knowing what's going on with your finances, having a budget, knowing your own spending habits, you know, evaluating those things on a weekly or monthly basis really allows you to be in total control of your future. No matter how much money you're making, no matter how much debt you have, when you know your spending habits, when you know what's coming in and what's going out, you have full control. Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to money, and having that knowledge, having those personal finance tools in my toolbox really allows me to know that the future goals that I'm setting for myself are completely attainable, and I am working towards those every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. I dislike the fact that, and I don't mean this to come as a personal attack on anyone, but everyone in the personal finance world believes that their way is the right way and the only way. Oftentimes because it's the right way that worked for them. Certain people online, Dave Ramsey, who tend to really preach that there is one specific method and that is the only method that anyone should use ever. I definitely disagree with that because everyone's financial situation is so different. There are not two people in the world who have the same amount of debt, the same spending habits, the same amount of income. Like everyone's story is so different. Everyone's goals are so different. Everyone's financial lifestyle is so different. So saying that this one plan is a universal plan that's going to work for everybody, it's not true. Everyone in personal finance feels that way. If you look through my comments, I have so many good-hearted people, and a lot of people are just giving me advice, but some people are just like, you're doing it wrong. You're never going to make it to the end of your goal. I don't know why I did that, like weird old lady accent, but you guys get my point. Everyone thinks that their way's the right way. It's the same with parenting. It's the same with really anything really interpersonal in your life. You're so passionate about whatever it is, whether it's your financial well-being or your familial habits, whatever it is. People get really uppity about thinking that one way is the only way, and that's just not the case. That completes my financial Q&A. I had a lot of fun making this video. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about, you know, my financial situation, my financial habits. If there's anything in this video that you guys want to hear me talk more about, please let me know in the comment section below, because I really enjoyed talking about all of this, and I would enjoy talking about any of it more if you guys are interested in hearing a more detailed information on anything that I mentioned. I am not the only person who answered these questions, and there is a guy named Josh waiting for you to come to his channel. So I'm going to leave the video somewhere around this video, so click it, go check out his channel. He's gonna have so many awesome answers for you guys. I am like so excited for his video to come up because I can't wait to see how he answered this question and how it differs, not just between us being male and female, but from him living on the complete opposite side of the country, from him being raised in a different way. Like, how are our financial situations so different, and what really led us to have those different financial situations? So super interested in seeing Josh's video. If you missed the little video that I popped up for you guys, I am also going to leave his video in the description box below, so go check that out. If you guys are interested in seeing more single mom finance type videos, I post these type of videos on my channel quite frequently. I talk about my budget at the beginning of the month and the end of the month, so if that's something that interests you, feel free to come back anytime. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.